They never tell you the truth. From the moment you are a child, you are fed a story. If you don't win early, you will never win at all. You watch as society crowns its young kings and queens, prodigies in their 20s who are praised as the future of the world. The message is clear: succeed young or be forgotten. If you are still searching, still failing, still invisible by 30, then you are done. A wasted life, a background character. And so, you scroll through your phone, choking on comparison. Everyone seems ahead of you, married, rich, successful, celebrated. They are posting pictures of houses, promotions, travel. You're left with doubt, with shame, with that quiet, sick feeling. Maybe I am too late. This is the lie. The truth is far darker and far more liberating. The truth is that early success is a fragile illusion. It burns fast, like paper thrown into fire. The world worships the sprinters, but history belongs to the marathoners. The world loves the prodigies, but it forgets their names as quickly as it praises them. Do you know who endures? Do you know who rewrites the rules? The late bloomers, the ones no one believed in, the invisible ones. The ones who appeared to be behind, while in silence they were gathering force, sharpening vision, and building resilience that no early star could ever match. Napoleon Hill, the man who dissected the laws of success, knew this hidden truth. Success rarely strikes instantly. It is forged in the waiting. It is earned in the shadows, and it often erupts after 30, when youth is gone, but real power begins. Think of Nietzsche. He was not adored in his 20s. He died poor, dismissed. But his ideas detonated across the world decades later, shaping millions of minds. Think of Colonel Sanders, who founded KFC in his 60s after failing for decades. Think of Vera Wang, who entered the fashion industry at 40. These were not prodigies. They were late bloomers. They are proof that being unseen now is not failure, it is preparation. And here you are, watching this, feeling the same poison whisper. You are late. You are behind. You will never catch up. But understand this. You are standing at the edge of your transformation. You are not weak because you are late. You are dangerous because you are late. You are carrying the one weapon society fears most, a long, invisible apprenticeship that no applause can interrupt. So, listen carefully. For the next few minutes, you will learn why the late bloomers, those mocked, ignored, and underestimated, are the ones who redefine success after 30. Why the slow start creates the strongest finish, and why the next decade of your life may not be the end of the story, but the beginning of the empire. This is not motivation, this is revelation. And once you hear it, you will never again see your delay as weakness. You will see it for what it truly is, the hidden law of power. They parade them in front of you like gods. The teenage prodigy with millions of followers, the 25-year-old billionaire, the young athlete who dominates headlines. These stories are repeated until they feel like law. If you don't rise young, you will never rise at all. And so, you sit there, poisoned by comparison, believing that every year after 30 is a step deeper into irrelevance. Society whispers, you're late, you're done, you've missed the train, but this is a myth, a carefully constructed illusion, and you've been tricked. Look closer at the so-called early winners. The media glorifies their peak, but never shows you the aftermath. How many of those child stars collapsed into addiction? How many of those young billionaires faded into obscurity, forgotten after the spotlight moved on? Success that comes too soon is success that burns too fast. The flame dazzles, but it dies before it can warm a lifetime. Napoleon Hill understood this. He wrote that success is never sudden. It is cumulative, built brick by brick through desire, persistence, faith, and adversity. When you see someone rise overnight, you are only seeing the surface. What you don't see is the long hidden preparation, or the fact that without it, their success will crumble. Think of it this way. A tree that grows too quickly in shallow soil collapses in the first storm. But a tree that grows slowly, its roots deep and unseen, becomes immovable. Early bloomers may dazzle, but late bloomers endure. History proves it. Consider Vincent van Gogh, ignored in his lifetime, selling almost nothing, dismissed as mad. Yet his work now defines an era of art. Or Nikola Tesla, who struggled in poverty while others stole his ideas. only to be recognized as one of the greatest minds to ever live. They bloomed late, not in applause, but in impact. Meanwhile, how many brightest stars of their time are now forgotten footnotes? The names once shouted from every stage now mean nothing. Fame is a shallow measure. True power is measured by endurance, by legacy, by how long your work shapes the world after you are gone. And yet, you've been trained to chase quick rewards. You've been told to feel shame for not being there already. That is not education. It is psychological warfare. It keeps you weak, obedient, easy to control. Because a man who thinks he is already too late will stop fighting. But you are not too late. You are untapped. You are unsharpened steel, hidden from the world's eyes. And that invisibility is your greatest advantage. While the prodigies burn out in the public arena, you are quietly preparing. You are building depth. You are storing strength. Do you understand what that means? It means your struggle is not proof of failure. It is proof of authenticity. It means your delay is not weakness. It is strategy written into your life. It means when you rise, you will not be fragile like the early bloomers. You will be unbreakable. Remember this. The myth of early success is a cage. Break it. Smash it. Refuse to measure yourself against those who peak young and fade. Because your trajectory is not theirs. You are not racing to be first. You are preparing to be final. And when you finally arrive, after 30, after 40, the world will have no defense. Because nothing is more terrifying than a late bloomer who finally decides to bloom. You think delay is weakness. You think obscurity is punishment. But delay is not weakness. Delay is training. Every year you spend unseen, you are building weapons no early success can touch. Weapons forged in silence. Weapons forged in hunger. Weapons forged in the long night of invisibility. Look closely at the early achiever. Praised too soon, applauded too loudly, celebrated before they've even formed an identity. They are fragile. They are addicted to attention. Their confidence is borrowed from the crowd, not born from within. When the applause fades, so do they. But you were denied the applause. You were denied the easy wins. You were forced to wrestle with failure alone. And in that solitude, you developed resilience. You learned how to keep moving when no one cared. You learned patience. You learned endurance. These are not weaknesses. These are weapons. Jung understood this. He said the true work of individuation, of becoming who you really are, begins in midlife. Why? Because only then have you suffered enough masks, enough failures, enough false starts to finally face yourself. The late bloomer has already burned through illusions by the time success arrives, and that makes their success indestructible. Nietzsche understood it too. He wrote that greatness ripens slowly, that the deepest fruits of the human spirit require long seasons underground. Only the shallow fruit ripens fast, and shallow fruit rots fast. Your delay is not a curse. It is a crucible. It is tempering you into something harder than steel. Think of Abraham Lincoln. He failed in business. He lost elections. He was mocked as irrelevant. Not until his 40s did he begin his rise, and not until his 50s did he become president. Would he have had the endurance to lead a nation through civil war if he had tasted only early success? Number. His delay was his weapon. Or think of J.K. Rowling, rejected again and again, living in poverty, invisible to the world. When she finally broke through, she carried a strength no early prodigy could imagine. That is the dark advantage. Delay carves a depth that cannot be faked. Every rejection sharpened her persistence. Every failure carved her vision. Every year in the shadows created an armor against collapse. And when success finally came, it did not destroy her. It amplified her. This is what you must understand. While the world mocks you for being late, you are quietly becoming untouchable. You are learning emotional detachment, how to keep moving without applause. You are learning long view strategy, how to play decades, not days. You are learning the art of silence, which makes your eventual arrival explosive. So stop envying the fragile prodigy. Stop wishing you were early. Their success is made of glass. Yours is being forged in fire. You are not behind. You are beneath, underground, waiting, growing roots so deep that when you finally rise, nothing can topple you. Delay is your dark advantage. Obscurity is your secret weapon. The longer the world ignores you, the more dangerous you become. And when the bloom finally comes, it will not be fragile, shallow, or fleeting. It will be terrifying. Because nothing strikes harder than a late bloomer who finally decides to bloom. Napoleon Hill spent his life dissecting why men rise and why men fail. He interviewed the titans of his time, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, and extracted laws that do not bend. And one law stands above the rest: success is never sudden. It is the visible eruption of years of invisible preparation. Hill wrote of 4 pillars: desire, persistence, faith, and adversity. These are not gifts, they are not inherited. They are forged in silence, in obscurity, in delay. And this is where the late bloomer holds the hidden advantage. Think of desire. The young achiever wants applause, validation, quick victories. Their desire is shallow, brittle, easy to corrupt. But you, the one denied recognition, your desire grows deeper. It is not about applause, it is about survival. It is about proving yourself when no one believes in you. That desire burns hotter because it was starved. Now persistence. Early success breeds arrogance. The prodigy thinks every door will open easily. The first time they are rejected, they collapse. But the late bloomer, you have lived through rejection after rejection. You have sent out applications, heard the silence, and kept moving. You have pitched, failed, restarted. Persistence is no longer something you try. It is something you are. Faith. Not faith in luck, not faith in applause, but faith in yourself. The late bloomer is forced to believe without evidence. You've had to carry the vision alone, with no validation, no recognition. That kind of faith is unbreakable. It does not depend on the crowd. It depends on you and adversity. This is the soil in which you've grown, the nights of doubt, the years of ridicule, the constant feeling of being behind. Early bloomers are destroyed by adversity. They interpret it as betrayal. You were born in it. You are fluent in it. Adversity is your mother tongue. Failure plus delay equals compounded force. Every stumble, every rejection, every year in obscurity multiplies these 4 pillars. Until what you hold is not ordinary ambition, it is weaponized ambition. Look at Colonel Sanders. He was broke, rejected over 1,000 times before his chicken recipe was accepted. He was 65 when his empire began. What did the years give him? Persistence, desire sharpened by humiliation, faith that outlasted rejection, adversity that became fuel. His so-called delay was his greatest. Ally, look at Vera Wang. She failed as an Olympic skater. She was passed over for editor-in-chief at Vogue. At 40, when the world considered her too old, she entered fashion and built an empire. Her failures compounded into vision. Her rejection became her sharpness. This is Hill's hidden law, the one society doesn't want you to see. The longer you are denied, the more powerful your preparation becomes. So, when you look at yourself and whisper, "I'm behind," understand, you are not behind. You are loading the weapon, you are compounding force, you are building a foundation so deep it will outlast everyone who ran ahead. And when the time comes, when your bloom finally erupts, the world will think it happened overnight. But you will know the truth. It was built in silence. It was built in delay. It was built through Napoleon Hill's law of hidden preparation. Your suffering is not proof of failure. It is proof you are on track. The battlefield of the late bloomer is not glamorous. It is not filled with applause, rewards, or recognition. It is filled with silence. It is filled with the sting of being overlooked, the shame of being behind, the ridicule of those who got there earlier. This is your war. From the outside, people look at you and see failure. They measure your life by the milestones you haven't reached. No wealth yet, no status yet, no visible proof of greatness. They laugh quietly, sometimes openly. They use your delay as evidence that you are less. And this ridicule is a weapon. It cuts into your pride, into your ego, until you begin to wonder if they are right. This is the crucible. This is the psychological war that every late bloomer must survive. Most men lose here. They crumble under the weight of comparison. They drown in envy. They bury their pain with distractions, with shallow pleasures, with excuses. They become invisible not because of delay, but because of surrender. But if you endure, If you refuse to collapse, something darker and stronger begins to take shape. The late bloomer learns invisibility. You learn to move without the need for recognition. You learn the art of silence, of watching, of waiting. You become the man in the shadows, sharpening himself while others waste their strength in premature battles. Jung called it the shadow, the part of yourself you do not want to see, the weakness, the envy, the rage, the hunger. Early bloomers never face it. They are too busy performing for the world. But you are forced to face it, day after day. You confront the humiliation. You stare down your envy. You carry the rage of being unseen, and by carrying it, you master it. This is the hidden gift of your war. You become untouchable. Because once you've been ridiculed, ignored, and dismissed for years, what can anyone take from you? Once you've built your identity in the shadows, applause can no longer corrupt you. Recognition can no longer control you. You no longer need validation. You control validation itself. Think of Nietzsche, who wrote that the man who has suffered the deepest despairs holds the greatest potential for strength. Or think of Socrates, mocked in Athens, treated as a fool until his enemies realized his questions could dismantle them. Their ridicule forged his philosophy. Their mockery sharpened his blade. Your isolation, your rejection, your stigma. This is the arena. Most will not survive it. But if you do, you will walk out with a kind of power that cannot be faked. So when you feel the sting of being unseen, when you feel the humiliation of being behind, do not shrink. Recognize the truth. You are inside the war that forges kings, and only a few will walk out alive. And if you are still here, if you are still fighting, if you are still breathing, then you are one of those few. After 30, everything changes. Success is no longer measured in the shallow applause of youth. It is no longer about who got the fastest job, the quickest promotion, the loudest validation. That stage is over. The race of appearances is done. What remains is power, real power, and power is not handed to boys. It is taken by men. In your 20s, the world celebrates noise, but after 30, the world respects weight, gravitas, authority, sovereignty. You are no longer chasing recognition, you are commanding it. And this shift is what makes the late bloomer dangerous. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote that timing is everything. That power belongs not to the reckless who rush, but to the patient who wait, who endure, and who strike when the moment is right. A young man who tastes power too early squanders it. A man who has been denied power learns to wield it with precision. This is why your story is not about catching up. It is about redefining what winning means. The early bloomer wants to be liked, seen, praised. The late bloomer wants sovereignty, the ability to move without permission, to create without begging, to command without apology. By 30, you have suffered enough illusions to know the truth. Validation is cheap. Freedom is priceless. You no longer want the crowd's approval. You want mastery over yourself, your work, your destiny. That is the real definition of success, and it only belongs to those who endured the delay. So, do not envy the ones who bloomed early. Their fruit rots quickly. Instead, see yourself for what you are becoming. A sovereign force, a master of timing, a man whose success will not vanish with trends. You are not behind. You are maturing into authority. And when you bloom, you will not bloom for applause. You will bloom for control. Now the pieces fit. The myth of early success has been shattered. The advantage of your delay has been revealed. The law of hidden preparation has been carved into your bones. The psychological war of ridicule has burned away your illusions. And here you stand, not broken, not late, but inevitable. You are not the forgotten one. You are the one who was hidden. You are not the weak one. You are the one who was being tempered. Every rejection, every failure, every year of invisibility was not theft. It was investment. While others burned out, you were building depth. While others wasted their youth on applause, you were preparing for sovereignty. This is the transformation. You are no longer the man chasing time. You are the man time has been shaping. You are no longer the struggler behind the race. You are the late blooming king, the one who rises after the noise has faded, after the pretenders have collapsed, after the early stars have burned out. And when you rise different. You rise with scars that turned into armor. You rise with faith that cannot be shaken. You rise with endurance that cannot be matched. You rise with an authority that cannot be given. It can only be earned. Understand this. The world is terrified of you because it does not know how to stop a man who waited, suffered, and still stood his ground. The early bloomers are fragile. You are not. You are forged. You are inevitable. From this moment, you no longer see yourself as late. You see yourself as chosen. You see yourself as the man who endured the crucible and walked out untouchable. And when the time comes to strike, you will not hesitate. You will not beg. You will not explain. You will rule, because the late bloomer does not just catch up. The late bloomer redefines the game. And you are the late blooming king. Enough. No more comparisons. No more apologies. No more rushing to meet timelines that were never yours. From this moment forward, you stop begging to be measured by the crowd. From this moment forward, you stand as a late bloomer, with depth, with scars, with sovereignty. The world told you that you were behind. The world lied. You were never behind. You were being sharpened, so rise. Not slowly, not timidly, but as a command. Walk as if you have already endured what others could not. Speak as if the years in silence have crowned you with authority. Act as if the throne is already waiting, because it is. This is not motivation. This is initiation. This is the dividing line between those who collapse in envy and those who bloom in power. You are not here to watch. You are here to join an order, a brotherhood of men who do not fear being late because they know they are inevitable. So, subscribe, not as a casual viewer, but as one who chooses to step beyond the ordinary. This channel is not entertainment. It is the forge. And if you are still here, it means you are rare. It means you are ready. It means you have answered the command to rise. Welcome to the order of the late bloomers. Your time has come.